Tonight we have the Gold Dragon Draft Order Gauntlet for you. The FSA Sunday Ticket is back with a wrinkle that nobody expected, and we finally get the details of the interns pitch. All of this and more in 30 seconds.
Welcome to Alliance Report Studios, brought to you by Sport Management Solutions. Here's your host, Brian B.
Hey, Philly Fanatics, welcome to the Alliance Report. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's get into it. I really apologize for the late start. Definitely having some technical issues around here with all of this tonight. I've had to refresh YouTube quite often tonight. I didn't want to go live right at the very beginning either. So Sean says, and go. MJ says, woot. I think there was a wow out there as well. So I'm not sure where the wow and the woot came from. Looks like two different things. Let's see. Sean says, how fast to get to Snake Eyes? Well, if you were tuned in for the Red Dragon draft gauntlet on Thursday night, it took us about 23 minutes to get there. It seemed that the common number, or the most common number 7 that's supposed to come up, just eluded us all night. And then we only had 3 teams on the board when the Snake Eyes came. And then when we did the Black Dragons yesterday, we had 4 teams on the board when the Black Dragons came, or when the Snake Eyes came. We were about 15 minutes in, and I think we still finished about 20 minutes faster with the Black Dragon than we did the Red Dragons. And we had a few little hiccups here and there as well. I see Tracy out there with us. Hello, how are you? MJ says she's here. Yeah, it's weird, MJ. If you could see it on my screen, there's one that's showing on the YouTube chat, but not showing on my chat that allows me to push over to the screen, which are 2 different things. So, Paul says, I don't even wear my 3D glasses and that hat be popping. So, yeah, so for those of you that have been around for a while, there was some, says Life is a Cloud, I'm not sure who that is. After we did the first FSA jersey runs, I want to say it was like 2015, 2016 timeframe, because, man, it's been 11 years now. The idea was when we get ready to do the second generation jerseys, instead of having anything embroidered on the sleeves like a Walter on one side and a regional mascot on the other side, we were just going to have Walter stitched on one side and then put the soft side of Velcro on the other sleeve. And we had a whole bunch of these patches made for the regions. That way we could just hand out the regions to you and then you could put them on your jersey. And if for some reason you changed regions, then you could get another patch and put it on there and you would get an upgrade. Made it much easier than trying to get another whole jersey or anything like that. So MJ says she has her Gold Dragon patch. So I was trying to figure out what I could wear tonight because I wore all of my own stuff on Thursday night because I was part of that draft gauntlet. And then yesterday I wore the Maniacs hat with a FSA jersey. So tonight I decided to try to get a little Gold Dragon in there. I actually have gold pants on right now, not shiny. So Paul, don't get too excited. They're just regular old like khaki looking pants, a little gold tint to them. So hey everybody, welcome to the Gold Dragon Draft Order Gauntlet tonight. I want to I'm going to pull the Gold Dragon board up here in just a second, and what I want to do is I want to go over the changes that we have made to the board since the last gauntlet that we did last year for the Gold Dragon. So let me pull that up right now and we'll go through all of the changes. So as you can see, the action dice are up on the top right hand corner, the final dice roll in the bottom right hand corner. So the one and only change that we made to the action dice this year was the number 11. The old number 11 used to lock the board. Somebody had borrowed the idea of doing this draft order show from me, and when they borrowed the idea from me, they got rid of the lock and they changed the number 11 to flip a row. I found that draft order show that they did, and I actually liked their idea. So I stole their idea after they stole my idea, and we changed the number 11 to flip row. It happened quite a bit between the red dragon and the black dragon so far. So if that number 11 comes up on the 2d6 roll, I'll explain it when we get there. And then I will go over the final roll with a 2 4-sided dice as well when we get there. But the big change there was the number that comes up most often with 2d4, which is 2 4-sided dice to get a total of somewhere between 2 and 8, is the number 5. The number 5 used to be we would move up or down one position based on an odd or an even, and I just didn't feel like there was enough stuff happening on the board whenever that came up. So what we ended up doing was taking that one and moving it up to number 2, and then everything from the top down just shifted a little bit. So what used to be number 2, which was the swap 2 teams with 2d12, is now number 3. What used to be the number 3 is now number 4, and what used to be the number 4 is now number 5. Said it all, but I'm probably going to say it again when we get there at the end of the show. So those are the changes that have happened to the board. So for those of you who have seen this before, y'all know what we're going to do, and I probably should have been explaining it during that whole time. I've got everybody's logos right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these up and I'm going to put them in the 25th anniversary Walter hat. What we're going to do is we're going to shake this up. We're going to pull a logo out. We're going to roll the 12-sided die, and I'm going to put that on the board so you can see it again. Of the 2 dice tables that are there in the middle of the screen, the 12-sided die will be on the left-handed side. The 2 6-sided die will come that one that's in the middle on the right-handed side. We will pull the first team out. We will roll a 12-sided die. We will get them up on the board, and then we will start rolling the action dice. So just wanted you all to get kind of an idea of where everything was at on the board. Trying to see if we got anybody else out there who's going to be commenting. Also, at the top of the show, we mentioned the FSA Sunday Ticket coming back with a new wrinkle. If you didn't get a chance to watch the Red Dragon or the Black Dragon draft gauntlets and hear about that news, we will announce that again tonight. We will also announce our FSA Clubhouse initiative that we were working on. That was not part of the 3 cold intros because we also added tonight the interns pitch is finally going to come to light tonight. We're finally going to announce what the summer interns pitched to me on the 31st, which was at this point 10 or 11 days ago. Their idea was so amazing that we in fact are adopting it. We are going to make it a thing here at FSA, and there are more details to follow once we get there. And I'm super excited, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. So I got a few more teams that I got to get folded up and put here in the hat. I should have been doing that while I was explaining the board to you. But here we are with 2 more teams to go in the hats. And we will shake it up. We will pull a team out. We will roll it on the 12-sided die. We will put that team on the board, and then we will start rolling some action dice. Paul says, check Discord. Paul, I cannot check Discord. I try to keep as few windows open as I can whenever I'm doing this, and I shut the Wi-Fi off on my phone as well. That way I get as much bandwidth as I can whenever I'm doing this. All right, so shaking up the hat, going to pull out the very first team, and we're going to figure out who we're putting on the board. We are going to put Unicorn Legends coming first out of the hat tonight. So let's roll the 12-sided die and see where we are putting Mrs. FSA on the board. Again, she is going to be in the left side. Of course, it's not going to work. I don't know what's going on with my technology tonight. Give me just a second. Oh, I don't understand what is happening. Probably helps if I actually queue up the dice. I thought I already had those. She is going to go into the number 3 spot. So let's get the Unicorn Legends showed up there in the on-deck circle and unlocked. And let's move her into the number 3 spot. And she starts us off tonight. Sean says rigged. Well, Sean, you've already seen this. You know that we don't stick around in these spots very long. So let's make sure I queue up the 2 6-sided die over on this side. And let's roll some action dice and see if Misty might be moving around on the board already. We've got a 11, so you're going to get to see how the flip the row works already. So what happens is we will roll one 12-sided die. Whatever number comes up, whether that's 1 through 6 or 7 through 12. If it's 1 through 6, we flip the top row. If it's 7 through 12, we flip the bottom row. And all that means is, in the case, let's say it is the top row. 1 becomes 6, 2 becomes 5, and then 3 becomes 4. And that's what happens whenever we flip a row. So let's roll the 12-sided die. And let's see what number we get, and we'll see if we are flipping that top row or nothing happens and we go back to the action dice. Sean says you got to stay on Mrs. Good side. That is a 5. That is the top row. That means we just put Mrs. FSA on the board and she's going to move from 3 to number 4 because that's what happens when you flip the board. Let me see if I'm missing any. Everybody's saying rigged, saying it's fixed. Got to stay on her good side. No chaos tonight. Do yourself a favor and no snake eyes, brother. That would be very cool, man. That would be awesome. If I think we've only, for those of you that have been doing this with me for the couple of years that we've been doing this, I think we have gotten through 1 or 2 shows without snake eyes, but very rarely does it happen. So let's roll some action dice. Let's see if we can get somebody to join the board with the misses. So now we rolled a 4, so we're going to move up or down 1 positions with an odd or an even roll. So you have to think about this as if this board is stacked, with number 1 being at the top and number 12 being at the bottom. So if we get an odd number and we move up, we're moving closer to 1. If we get an even, we're moving down closer to 12. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Matt out there with us. Matt, appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, man. And the board is also circular. So if you are at the number 1 spot and we get a move up with an odd, you will move to number 12. And if you are number 12 and you get an even and we are moving down, you're going to number 1. So the board is circular and it's stacked. And I've talked enough. Let's roll a 12-sided die and see which direction she's going. That is a 7. That is an odd number, which means she's moving right back from the number 4 position to the number 3 position. Let's find a mate for her on the board. Let's get somebody else up there. Let's roll these action dice. Action dice says flip the whole board. So she's the only one on the board. So she's going to go from the number 3 spot to the number 10 spot now because we flipped the whole board. And let's go back to some action dice. She's been 3, 4, 3, and 10, and the only one on the board so far. 6 means we're going to swap teams' positions with 2d12. Means I have to queue up another 12-sided die, and the only time that anybody's going to be moving is if we happen to roll a 10 on one of these dice, and then she will move into that other spot. Let's see if a 10 pops up. It does not, so let's go back to the action dice. If I could figure out where my mouse is at. There it is. All right, action dice says 5, which means we're going to roll until an open position is filled. So let me get my face back on the screen. It means we've got to pull a team out of a hat, and we've got to continue rolling until we get an open position. Well, there's not a lot of people on the board right now, but if we happen to roll a 10, we will roll again, or spin again, roll again, and put this team up on that board. And we've got Totally Turtley. Ty, you're getting ready to go on the board. Let's see where you're going to go. Let's queue up one 12-sided die. If you happen to get a 10, we will re-roll because you have to roll until we get you in an open position. You are going to go into the number 3 spot where Misty started the whole thing off at. Let's get Totally Turtley queued up and get you in the number 3 spot. So we got 2 teams on the board, Totally Turtley and Unicorn Legends. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 11, which means we're going to flip a row. One of you is moving. One of you is going to go either from 3 to 4, or one of you is going to go from 10 to 9. Not a big move, but we got to figure out if it's the top row or the bottom row. That is on my side 12 showing up on my screen. That is an even number. That means we are going to flip that bottom row. Misty is on the move again, going from number 10 to number 9. Let's roll some action dice. Sounds like somebody is joining me in the studio. I wonder who that could be. Foreshadowing, hint, hint. All right, we get at number 7. We are going to roll the dice until we get a draft spot that is open to put a team on. So we got to get a team out of the hat first before we do that. I don't know that you've ever got to see this live before, have you? Nope. Paul, Rochester Rabbits getting ready to go up on the board. Paul, let's see where you are going to go. Because we rolled a 7, have to continue to roll. So if we happen to get a 3 or a 9, we will re-roll. If not, you will be going on the board in the number 6 spot. So Rochester Rabbits going on the board in the number 6 spot. Let's get you up there. 2 teams on the board. In the top row, 1 team in the bottom. She's not even here and she's getting all the attention, right? And she already said she wasn't going to show up for this because she feels like when she shows up, it's bad luck for her. So she will not be joining us tonight. 10, it means we're going to swap 3 teams with a 3D12. So we're going to queue up 3 12-sided die, and we are going to read them from left to right and swap teams around, and we'll see what this is going to look like. So from left to right, that's pretty close. We're going to go 11 to 12, 12 to 1, and 1 to 11. There are nobody's in those spots. There is nobody in those spots, so there will be no movement. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice is 6, which means we're going to swap teams' positions with 2d12. We have 3 teams on the board, so it's possible that somebody might be moving, but we got to queue up 2 12-sided die first. Let's roll these die and see if anybody is moving. We got a 12 and a 5. Nobody is in either one of those spots, so we're going to roll some action dice. Action dice says 10. It's a 3-team swap. We're going to do that again, so let's queue up 3 12-sided die. Let's see if anybody's moving. Reading these from left to right. A little bit easier to read them this time. 8 is going to 8. 8 is going to 2. 2 is going to 8. Nobody's in those spots. Once again, rolling some action dice. Action dice says 11 means we're going to flip a row. We have to figure out which row we are going to flip. So let's queue up 1 12-sided die. Figure out if we're flipping the top row or the bottom row. That is an 8. We are flipping the bottom row. That means Misty is going back to the number 10 spot. And we are rolling some action dice. Action dice says 6 means we're going to swap teams with 2d12. Let's queue up 2 12-sided die. And let's roll those dice. We are swapping number 1 and number 2. There is nobody in those 2 positions. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 3 means we're going to pull a team from the board, but that's only if we roll a 3, 6, or 10. If we don't roll any of those 3 numbers, we're going to roll action dice again. So let's see if we get a 3, 6, or a 10. That is a 9. Nobody's getting pulled from the board. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 7 means we are going to put a team on the board in one of the open positions, but we have to pull the team out of the hat before we do that. So for those that are looking to try to figure out what we're doing for draft dates, let me pause here for a second as I'm pulling this team out. The Red Dragons have pretty much almost figured ours out. We're 10 out of 12 on yeses for August 19th. I think that's a Wednesday night. I think we're doing it at like 8 o'clock. Red Dragons, we thought we had a pretty decent time locked in, and then we had a wrinkle that came up. The new date that we're going to try to push after this is all done seems like it's going to work for a lot of people. I actually think it is a Sunday, but I think it's the very next Sunday coming up. For the Gold Dragons, I've been waiting until we got the draft order gauntlet done for you all before we started looking into yours, even though I know Paul has been doing a very good job of trying to push to get dates out there. I know that the popular opinion right now is probably the 22nd. I would absolutely actually be okay with that. 22nd is the date that I'm going to be, or one of the dates that I'm going to be in Ohio. That's going to be the 3rd anniversary of Dad passing away. So my sister and I were going to spend a lot of time together that day. I know I don't need to be there, but you guys know I always like to monitor your drafts in case anything happens so I can react to it. So I say all that to say if we can push it off the 22nd, I would appreciate it. But if we can't, I'll find a way to be there. All right. Gold Dragon starts in 40 minutes. Oh, you're talking about the draft starts in 40 minutes. We are putting the New York Jackets and Mr. Gerard on the board going up right now. Let's figure out where we're putting him on the board. Because we rolled a 7, we will continue to roll the 12-sided die until we get an open number. Lots of open spots out there. He should be able to slide in somewhere. Oh, Misty is there in the number 10 spot, so we have to roll again. We are going to put him in the number 10 spot again. Let's roll it one more time. Number 1 spot. I'm sure he's not upset about that at all. He is on the road right now, on his way to Alabama. He might have already reached Alabama, so I'm sure he is not upset by that number 1 spot right now. So let's slide him up in there. We have a third of the teams on the board. Let's roll some action dice. And Sean, you're absolutely right. Sean says we can explore weekdays as well. And that's actually what I've been pushing quite a bit. Actually, you can't see that on this screen. I don't have it set up. I've actually been pushing that quite a bit as well, trying to do weekdays because it just seems to be working out better. Like we're not interrupting anybody's family time on the weekends, doing it after everybody's work. The biggest issue has just been trying to work across everybody's schedules because we are coast to coast and we even have one over in Europe right now. So it makes it very tough to make sure we get a right time for everybody. All right, we rolled a 4 means we're moving everybody up or down 1 position based on this roll right here. Again, remember the board's circular. So if we get an odd number and we are moving up, Mr. Gerard, who just went on the board, will end up moving into the number 12 spot. Sean says he's not flexible because he's old and also your body's been beat down by the Army. So that's why you're not flexible, my friend. All right, we have an even number, which means everybody is going to move down 1 position. So let's start there with Mrs. FSA. She's going to go from 10 to 11. Paul, you're going to go from 6 to 7. Ty, you're going to go from 3 to 4. And Gerard's going to go from 1 to 2. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 10, which means we're going to do a 3-team swap, reading these dice from left to right. Let's see if we move anybody with this roll. Reading left to right, we are going to go 11 is moving into the 1 spot. 1 is moving into 1 and 1 is moving into 11. So basically the number 11 is moving into the 1 spot. So we just freed up the number 1 spot. And Mrs. FSA is going there now. Make sure I'm doing that. 11 goes to 1. There's nobody in 1, so 1 can't go to 1 and 1 can't go to 11. So yeah, it's basically a 2 swap. So 11 goes to 1, and she is currently sitting in the number 1 spot. And this is why she doesn't watch the show. I'm pretty sure she would be happy with that number 1 spot. All right, we are flipping a row. We just got her moved up to the number 1 spot. Depending on what row number we end up flipping or rolling here, she could flip to the number 6 spot just as easily as she got the number 1 spot. Let's see which row we are flipping. We are flipping on my screen. That is a number 1. We are flipping the top row. So she is moving from the 1 to the 6. Mr. Gerard is moving down to the 5. Ty, you're moving back up to the number 3. Let's roll some action. Let's get some more teams on this board. That's what we really need. All right, 10. We are going to do 3-team swap again. 3 12-sided die, reading left to right. We have 11 going to 11, 11 going into 8, and 8 going into 11. Nobody is in any of those positions, so we're going to roll action dice. A lot of duplicates on the 3 dice roll tonight. 6 means we're going to swap teams' positions with just 2 12-sided dice. Only 4 teams on the board. Let's see if this affects anybody or not. Number 6 and number 12 are changing. That means Misty was in the number 1 spot, then went to the number 6 spot. Now she's going down to the number 12 spot. She is just all over the board. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 11, which means we're going to flip a row. We just have to figure out what row that is going to be. So we have to queue up 1 12-sided die. Let's see if it's the top row or the bottom row. That is a number 4. That is a top row. That means Mr. Gerard is going right back to the number 2 spot. And Ty, you are going right back into the number 4 spot. Let's roll some action dice. Let's get some more teams on the board. Yes, agreed, MJ. We need more teams on the board. There we go. Number 5 means we're going to roll into an open position. It gets filled. We have 4 teams on the board. It means we got 8 spots that are still left. We got to get a team up on the board. Let's see who we're pulling out of the hat and putting on the board. We are putting Average Joes. Eric, if you're out there, I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're resting. Let's get you up on the board and figure out where we're going to put you. Since we rolled a 5, we will continue to roll until it's one of those open positions to put you in. You are going to go. You cannot go into the number 4 spot because Ty currently holds that. So we are going to spin again, roll again. That is a number 7. That is where Paul is currently at. We got to spin, roll again. Number 1. Pretty sure you're not going to be angry about that. I feel like you had the number 1 spot in your region last year, if I remember right. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like you had number 1 last year. All right, we have 5 teams up on the board. Let's roll some action dice. Trevor, we have not had snake eyes yet. You didn't miss it yet. You showed up at a good time. We just rolled a 6. We're going to do swapping with 2d12. I got a text message from Trevor earlier tonight saying that he was going to be with his kiddo doing baseball, I think, and said he was hoping that he would make it in time to miss or see snake eyes. Yeah. Let's see. 1 and a 5. What did we get? We got a 6 swap 2 teams positions. That means 1 and a 5. That means we just put Eric up on the board. He is moving down to the number 5 spot. And let's roll some action dice. Sean, what did you say? Oh, no, but it's coming. Must be talking about the snake eyes. Yeah, I can feel it. There is a flip the whole board. We got a 12. That means 12 becomes 1. 2 becomes 11. Let's see. 4 becomes 9. 5 becomes 8. 7 becomes 6. And that's how you flip a whole board. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 7 means we're getting ready to put a team up on the board. All right, so we're going to pull a team out of the hat. We have to continue to roll until we have an open spot. So yeah, Trevor, you didn't miss anything. Sean's right. It's probably coming. It'll probably be very late in all of this at this point. All right, Mantis Mayhem and Matt Little are getting ready to go up on the board. Let's figure out where we're going to put Matt. And because we rolled a 7, we have to continue rolling that single 12-sided die until we get a number that is not occupied on the board already. So let's see what he gets. That is a number 8. We already have the average Joes in that spot. Let's roll again. That is a number 6. We have Paul in that spot. Let's roll again. That's a 2. We can put Mantis Mayhem on the board in the number 2 spot. Let's see if we get Matt up there on the board in the number 2. That gives us 6 teams on the board. Half the board is filled. Let's get some action dice and get some more teams on the board. That is a 7. That means we are going to pull another team out of the hat. We're going to put them on the board in one of those empty spots. Let's see who we're putting on the board. We are putting Sean out there, Gridiron Grinders. Sean, you're getting ready to go up on the board. You are going to go in one of these empty spots. So you have 3 through 5, 7, 10, and 12 that you can go into. You have to continue rolling until you get into one of those spots. My board is showing 8 average Joes already in there. I have a number 12 for you. So Gridiron Grinders going up on the board in the number 12 spot. Of course, always a good spot to be because 12 can become 1 so fast. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 10. We're going to do a 3-team swap. Quite a few teams on the board this time. We might actually see some movement as we read these dice from left to right. Left to right says 9 to 6, 6 to 1, and 1 to 9. So 9 is going to go to 6. So Ty, you are moving from 9 to 6. 6 is going to go to 1, and 1 is going to go to 9. And everybody's sliding into their spots. Paul, you're in the number 1 spot now. Let's roll some action dice. Trevor, I wish I could show that up on the board. How does everyone know feeling the WRL champion will be someone coming out of the Gold Dragon region? I like it. I like that you guys have that going for you, that you feel that confident. It is going to be a brutal year in all three regions, I believe. All right, we rolled a 9. 9 means we are swapping positions with 2d12. You got to remember, the Black Dragons have all of those past champions in it. The Red Dragons have competition that have been around in all of the leagues for quite a while. 2 Hall of Fame members in there. It is going to be a bloodbath. It is going to be a bloodbath. All right, we are swapping the 7 and the 11. That means Mr. Gerard is moving from the 11 to the number 7 spot. Let's roll some action dice. Sean says, I keep hearing about this stack group. They will find come playoff time. Yeah. So be honest with me, for those of you that are out there listening right now. You all know when we get to the playoff points, you're going to play the top 5 teams in each one of your regions are going to play down. It is going to be the 3 division winners and the next 2 wild cards, regardless of what division they are. 4 and 5 will play against each other. The winner of that will end up playing the number 1 seed, and then we will continue on with the playoffs until we are down to the regional champion in each one of them. And then it is going to be a 3-way head-to-head play against each other for that championship. So we will crown a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd right in that game. And it's something new for us, and I wanted to see how you all felt about that. I just rolled the 6 and the 4, so we're doing the swapping of 3 teams because we have a 10. So we're going to read these from left to right. But let me know how you feel about the way we're going to do the playoffs this year. All right, left to right. Let's see. We've got 11 going to 2, 2 going to 11, and 11 going to 11. So 11 and 2 are swapping. Mantis Mayhem, you are going down to the number 11 spot. Yeah, Trevor says it's going to be wild. I think it will be wild as well, but what's cool, I think, about it is all of the regions have skin in the game all the way in the championship now. You know, before, whenever the regions was kind of eliminated, I feel like, that region was like, we're shrugging the shoulders, we're done. But in this case, everybody's got a skin in the game all the way into the finals, and it was the only way I could get the playoffs to work the way that I wanted it to. And I thought, is it too weird? But I think it's going to be all right. I think it'll be cool. Sean says it's a different kind of 3-way. Yeah, you got that right. Let's roll some action dice. There's the snake eyes. Daggone it. I knew it was coming as soon as we started talking about 3-ways. All right, that means everybody that's come out of the hat is getting folded and put back into the hat. As soon as I get everybody back in the hat, then we will go and clear the board. And 34 minutes in, we are starting all the way over. There we go. Well, hope you all didn't have any big plans for Monday night because we're going to be here for a little bit. And I hope you all stick around so you can still hear the interns pitch, because I do have one of the interns here with me in the office. That's who came in. Whenever I said it sounded like somebody was coming into the studio. She's ready to tell you all about it. She's super excited about it. They did such a great job with their pitch. Like, seriously, they did a great job. I'm so proud of them and the idea that they came up with as well. All right, so let's get everybody moved off of this board and put you all back over in the on-deck circle, almost like it never happened. How you doing there, girl?
Hi.
It's brutal, huh?
I want to go to sleep.
You want to go to sleep? Hey, if you want to go to sleep, I'll pitch the idea for you. I get it. It's early. It's going to be an early morning. If you want to go ahead, I got you. I'll pitch your whole idea for you. I will let them know to sing all your praises and everything like that. Hey, the other intern just walked in as well. Yeah, so we're basically starting all the way over. Snake Eyes just hit. Yeah, you're watching it down there. Snake Eyes just hit. So the other intern came up and basically wanted to help console me because we're so late into it. Paul says if Misty is the next one out. All right. So since we're starting all the way over, that means we got to get a team out of the hat. So let's shake this thing up and let's get a team out of the hat and see who we're putting on the board for this relaunch.
Somehow I kept pausing my video and somehow I'm behind because I can hear you.
Well,
my door.
it's probably already behind anyways because it always runs about, I think it's running about 13 seconds behind tonight. All right, who are we pulling out? No, we're pulling out the Lone Rangers, who has not seen the board yet. Sean's getting ready to go up on the board as our first one back out of the hat. So let's roll some action dice. I'm sorry, let's roll the place, not the action dice. Let's roll a 12-sided die and get Sean on the board. He is going into the number 10 spot. So let's get the Lone Rangers up on the board in the number 10 spot. And let's get this thing going. We've got past the snake eyes now. Let's roll some action dice. Hope that we get some 7s and get some people up on the board fairly quick. That is an 8. We are going to swap with 2. Or no, 8 is we're going to put a team on the board and we will swap out the team if we roll a 10, which means we have to get a team on the board or out of the hat first. Hey, no. All right, let's see who we're putting up on the board. We are putting Crayon Crusaders. Katie B getting ready to go up on the board. She was not on there at all. And because we rolled an 8, we will continue to, or if we roll a 10, she will automatically replace Sean. If not, she will go in whatever number comes up on this dice. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted right now. That is a 9, so we're going to get the Crayon Crusaders up on the board in the number 9 spot. Let's see what you're saying over here. Love it, the interns going upstairs to do a buddy check on Dad after the snake eyes appear. Yeah, they were up here definitely to check on me. That is for sure. Especially 34 minutes into the show. All right, let's get a 7 and get somebody up on the board. All right. Well, since you guys are already there, why don't you give a little wave since you're back there in the back anyways. Hi, there's the other hand. All right, go away. Just kidding. All right. Let's see who we're putting up on the board. We got a 7, so they got to go into a spot. Mantis Mayhem, Matt getting ready to go up on the board. Since we rolled a 7, we do have to continue rolling until we get an open spot for Matt to go into. So if a 9 or a 10 comes up, we will continue to roll. That is a 12. Mantis Mayhem going on the board in the number 12 spot. Has anybody text Mrs. FSA to let her know what's going on? Just so it will jinx her a little bit. Let me know. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 7. So we're going to put another team up on the board. We got to get them out of the hat. They will go into one of the spots that's on the board because we will continue to roll until it goes into an open spot. Let's see who we're putting on the board. Average Joe's back out of the hat. Getting ready to go on the board. So Average Joe's, we're going to continue to roll that 12-sided die until we get you on the board. Let's see where you are going. You are going in the number 1 spot. You were there just a little bit ago, and now you're going up on the board into the same spot. Let's get you up on the board. And let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 4, which means we're going to move everybody up or down at 1 position, odd or even. Again, board stacks and is circular. So let's see if we're moving up or down. Number 3 is an odd number, which means we're moving everybody up. So let's move everybody up from the bottom of the board first. So Katie, you're going from 9 to 8. Sean, you're going from 10 to 9. Matt, you're going from 12 to 11. Eric, you're going from 1 to 12. Remember, odd, everybody moves up, board circular. We're getting closer to 1. 1's got to go somewhere. They go to 12. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 7. We are putting a team on the board. We have 4 teams on the board right now. 8 still left in the hat. Got to get 1 up on the board. Let's see who we're going to put up on the board. We are going to put Unicorn Legends. This is FSA going back on the board. Let's see where she's going to go. We will have to continue to roll until we have an open spot for her. So let's see if she gets to go on the board in the first roll. That is a 6. So she's going on the board in the number 6 spot. Unlock her. Figure out why my screen is doing that. Let's move her up to the number 6 spot. Let's lock that screen there as well. All right, let's roll some action dice. So you figure out where my mouse is at. There we go. We have a 5, which means we're going to roll until an open position is filled again, which means we got to pull somebody out of the hat. Since my intern is over here lurking and hovering, I'm going to have her pull the next one out for me. You want to pull one? I know that's what you're hanging out over here for. You got one?
Yeah.
All right, let me see who you got. It is Mr. Gerard in the New York Jackets getting ready to go up on the board. You want to do the same thing too? You want to come over and pull one as well?
I was going to ask if we can do the intern thing early.
Oh, well, everybody wants to see this part. So again, if you want to hit the sack, I totally get it. All right, we are putting Mr. Gerard on the board. We'll continue to roll the 12-sided die until we have an open position. He is going in the number 9 spot that's already taken, so we have to roll again. Yeah, it's going pretty quick now, Sean. You're right. Yeah, Paul says the girls need to control the hat. Go interns. I think you're right. Number 7. We can put Mr. Gerard in number 7. I don't know if you said that before I reached around and had her do that. But she's been lurking quite a bit, so I figured she wanted to do it. So you want to do the next one? Let me roll some action dice. Action dice says 5, which means we are going to roll until we get an open spot on the board. So let's shake this up. All right, tall intern, your turn. All right, tall intern, you got one there. All right, who do you got? All right, Rochester Rapids and Paul getting ready to go back on the board. And Paul was the one that says, let's you guys take over the hat. And just like that, you pull his team out. So let's roll a 12-sided die and see where he's going on the board. We continue to roll with the spots taken. Paul, you're going into the number 2 spot. I don't think you would be too upset by that. Let's put you up in the number 2 spot. Board's getting pretty full. We got 5 spots left. That means 7 are on the board. Let's roll some action dice and no more snake eyes that can hurt us. So definitely filling up pretty quick now. That's a number 7, which means we're going to continue to roll until we get an open spot on the board. Little intern, you want to pull? Okay. All right, little intern, pull. All right, who do you got? Totally Turtley and Ty's getting ready to go up back on the board. Yeah, I know. I said that, and as soon as I said it, I thought it in my head too. Only you would think the same thing. All right, let's put Ty up on the board. Let's roll a 12-sided die and see where we're putting her up on the board. She cannot go in the number 12 spot because we have to continue to roll until we get an open spot. Average Joes are already in that spot, so let's continue to roll. That is a number 7. Somebody is in that spot. We only got 5 spots, so we could be rolling here a little bit to get her. Nope, there we go. Number 3. She is going in the 3rd spot. And let's put her up on the board. Tall intern, you want to take the next one? Sure. If we get it.
I like how you keep calling that.
Tall and short. That is a number 6. It means we're going to swap 2 teams around with 2d12 first. The board is pretty full. Let's see if we're moving anybody around. That is a number 12 and a number 8. So that means, Eric, you are moving up to 8. Katie, you're moving down to number 12.
Dad.
Yes. Rolling some action dice. Yes, I know. I saw it.
What?
Trevor says, are we sure my team made the hat? I'm pretty sure you're in there, Trevor. We just haven't seen you yet. We're pulling a team from the board. If we roll one of these numbers, we will be putting that team back in the hat if they were already on the board. We're going to roll a 12-sided die and see. Trevor, I think you might be the only one that hasn't made it out yet, so it's very funny that you said that. That is a number 9 getting pulled from the board. So the Lone Rangers is getting pulled from the board. We'll pull him off digitally. And then I want you all to see me put him back in the hat. So we don't forget that part. He's got to find his logo here. There it is. Lone Ranger's going back in the hat. Roll some action dice. And see what happens to this board next. I think this is the first time the interns have actually got to see this all the way through like this. That's a number 6. We're swapping 2d12, 2 teams around with 2 12-sided dice. Let's see who we're moving around. We are moving number 3 and number 5. So Ty, you are sliding down just a couple of spots. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 6, which means we're going to do swapping again with 2d12. Let's roll these dice again. That is a number 4 and a number 4. Nobody's in that spot, and we can't move the same person anyways. So let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 8, which means we are going to roll a d12 and replace a team if a position is filled. But first, we have to get a team out of the hat. So MJ, you're the other one that's not. I knew there was another one that wasn't. So MJ and Trevor have not made it out of the hat yet. Let's see if the tall intern can pull one of you out of the hat this time. You got one? There we go. Who do you got? That is the gridiron grinder. Sean coming back out of the hat again. Let's see where we're going to put you. Sean, because we rolled an 8, if you come up with a number with a team that's already on the board, you will replace them. If not, if you get a 1, 3, 4, 9, or 10, you will go on the board. So you're going on the board regardless. Let's see. You are going into the number 4 spot that is on my screen. So empty spot, you'll slide right in. That gets us another team on the board. Only 4 spots left. Let's roll some action dice. That is a 5. Means we're going to roll until an open position is filled. The last 4 spots is 1, 3, 9, and 10. But before we do that, we have to get one of these teams out of the hat. Let's see if you can pull one of these ones that hasn't made it out of the hat yet. Who do you got? Oh, nope. We got the Lone Rangers again, who's already been on the board, putting him back on the board. And because we ended up getting a 5, we have to continue to roll. So we will roll a 1, 3, 9, or 10 to put him on the board. That is a 7. Somebody's already in that spot. That is a 4. Somebody's already in that spot. That is a 7. Somebody's already in that spot. This could take a little bit. That is an 8. Somebody's already in that spot. Another 8. 8 happened quite a bit last night when we were doing this as well. 7 again.
The dice just loves.
Another 7.
The dice just loves 8 and 7.
That is a 9. So we are putting the Lone Rangers in the number 9 spot. And that means we have 3 spots left on the board. 1, 3, and 10. Number 1 spot still left open. Let's roll some action dice. 7 means we are putting a team on the board and putting them in the 1, 3, or 10 spot. But before we do, we have to pull a team out of the hat. Tall intern, your turn. You ready to do it? Okay. All right. Trevor and MJ haven't made it out of the hat yet. Are you pulling one of them? You don't know. No, Fast Johnny Syndicate hasn't made it up on the board either. So, you know what? Let me check to make sure you two are in there. Yep, I see your shadow, and I see your shadow. You two are in there. Fast Johnny Syndicate and Josh Cooper hadn't made it up on the board yet either. So there was 3 of you that had not made it on the board. And now we're getting ready to put Josh Cooper up on the board. Fast Johnny Syndicate going up either in the 1, 3, or the 10 spot. So it could take us a while to roll those. I had to check. I was starting to wonder myself. That is a 5. Ty is already in that spot. Let's roll again. 1, 3, or a 10. We'll keep rolling until that happens. That's an 8 again. There's a 10. So Fast Johnny Syndicate is going in the number 10 spot. That means Trevor or MJ, one of you two will probably get on the board in the 1 or the 3 spot. But let's roll some action dice and find out and see if this board moves around or not. 6 means we're going to swap with 2 12-sided dice. Let's see who's moving around. Only 2 spots left. 10 out of the 12 taken. It means probably somebody's moving. That is a 10 and a 4. So Fast Johnny Syndicate just went up on the board. He is sliding up to the 4 spot. Sean, you're moving down to the 10 spot. Let's get them situated and let's roll some action dice. Trevor says, give me 3. Well, we are putting one of you two on the board. Who just took the last one out? Did Tall Intern take it out? Okay, so you get this one. All right, so who are you pulling out? You pulling out Trevor? You pulling out MJ?
MJ probably.
You hope?
Yeah.
Let's see. Can you open it? And you dropped it. You have one job. Okay, it is Southern Sirens. It is MJ. You had one job.
Yay!
All right, MJ. So we're going to roll. You're either going to go in the 1 or the 3 spot. Could take us a little bit to get there. So let's queue up the 1 12-sided die. Let's see if we're going to put you in the 1 or the 3. That's a 12 on my side, even though it doesn't look like it. Very much look like a 7. That's a 4. That's a 12. That's a 2. 10. That's a 6. Watch this thing avoid the 1 and the 3 for hundreds of rolls. That's a 2. 5.
It just hates 1 and 3.
It hates 1 and 3. You're right. There's another 5.
Come
That's what I'm saying. We're at 51 minutes. I'm saying, come on. 11. Oh, it looked like it was going to go on 3 there for a second.
on. MJ is saying 3.
That is a 1, MJ. You are going in the number 1 spot. Southern Sirens going on the board. That means the number 3 spot is left open for you, Trevor. But let's see if there's anything else that happens to the board first. So let's roll some action dice and see if we move anybody else around on the board before we get you on the board.
Imagine Snake Eye happens.
Oh, it's okay if Snake Eyes happens at this point. We don't care at this point. That's a 6. We're moving 2 teams with 2d12. Let's see who we're moving around before we get Trevor up on this board. We are moving. MJ just went into the number 1 spot. She's moving to the number 10 spot. Her and Sean are trading. Sean, you're moving up to 10. MJ, or Sean, you're moving up to 1. MJ, you're moving down to 10. Let's roll some action dice. Couldn't get a 1 to save our lives earlier, and then we get another one that quick. 3 means we're going to pull a team from the board. So we got to roll a 12-sided die and see who's coming off the board to join Trevor in the hat. So we will have 2 open spots and 2 teams in a hat. Unless we roll a 3. We did not. MJ just got on the board, and she's coming off the board, putting her back in the on-deck circle, locking her up, making sure we're putting you back in the hat with Trevor. You were back in there. Let's roll some action dice. Let me get you guys back on the board first. Let's roll some action dice. MJ's leaving? Oh, she said I'm leaving. I thought you meant you were leaving and not watching the show. You left. You said because you left the board. All right, we rolled a 5. That means we're going to roll until a position is filled. So let me shake up the hat. Let's find out if Trevor's finally going to make it out and onto the board into the number 3 or 10 spot, or if we're putting MJ right back up on the board. Hold on, let me get the screen up. Who you got? That is Trevor, finally out of the hat. Trevor, you're going on the board. Last but not least, what did I miss? Uh-oh, what did I miss? Did I miss something bad? Oh, because she called it. Okay. Trevor, you're going on the board. You can only go in the 3 or the 10 spot. So let's roll until one of those numbers come up. That's a 6. That's a 5. Are you talking about I missed that you said that you were coming off the board? Because I saw you said you were leaving. I thought you meant you were leaving the show. Trevor says, come on, 3. I'd like to get any number that fills in one of those 2 holes. 3 or a 10. That's a 10. Trevor, you wanted 3. Of course, you're going to get 10. And why shouldn't you? All right. You're going in number 10. All right. Let's roll some action dice and see if we mess this board up a little bit more before we get MJ back out of that hat. That's an 8, which means we are going to replace a team. The only team that's in the hat, of course, is MJ. So if we roll a 3, she goes right into the 3 spot. If not, she's going to pull a team off of the board. Let me see. I'm missing everything. I got to get caught up on all of this. I called my number was being pulled. Oh, you sure did. All right, so let's see if you're going to go into that number 3 spot or if you're pulling somebody off of the board. Let's see. You are going into the 8 spot, and you're going to pull the average Joes off the board. So let's get you queued up. Let's move you over to the 8 spot. Let's move average Joes off. Southern Sirens into that spot. We got to get average Joes out of our stack here. There we go. And we're putting average Joes back in the hat as the only team that's in the hat for right now. Let's go back over and roll some action dice. That is a 7. That means we have to roll until an open position is filled. There is only one position left. That is the number 3. Of course, we just put the average Joes in the hat. So they're going on the board into the final position. Let's get them in the number 3 spot. All right, now, as everybody knows, we're getting ready to do the final roll. Final roll is we will swap the 2 6-sided dice that you see in the right-handed dice screen to 2 4-sided dice. 2 4-sided dice gives a total somewhere between 2 and 8. You can see the final roll list over there on the right-hand side. Whatever that total is what we're going to do to the board. Like I said at the top of the show, we changed it from the last time that we did this. The most common number that comes up is the number 5, and I felt like moving up or down one position didn't do a lot for us, so I ended up moving that into the number 2 spot. The number 2 became number 3, which is swap 2 teams with the 2d12. The number 3 became the number 4, which is the swap 3 teams with the 3d12. And the number 4 became the number 5, which is swapping 4 teams with 4d12. Hoping that way more would happen to this board when we go to do those 2 4-sided dice. So and you'll probably see this in the screen here, am taking the 2 6-sided dice to 0 right now. I'm taking the 4-sided dice to 2 of those. And before I roll that dice, I wanted to come over and say hi one more time. All right, here we go. The 2 4-sided dice are getting ready to get rolled. We will get a total and we'll see what we're going to do to this board. Total is, you look at the points on the top of the dice, that is a total of 6. Means one of these rows is going to flip. If we roll a 1 through 6, it will be the top row. If we roll a 7 through 12, it will be the bottom row that flips. One of these rows is going to flip, 1 and 1 only, with a 12-sided die roll happening on your left screen right now. We are flipping the bottom row. That means number 12 becomes number 7. Number 8 becomes number 11. MJ puts you almost on the turn. And then number 9 and number 10 flip-flop. And that is your final order. So what I will do is I will clean this up, and after we get done with the rest of the show, because we have a few more topics to get through tonight, of course, the intern's going to give their pitch here shortly. I will clean this up. I will get it posted into your guys' channels on Discord. And this is the order. I will also get you guys set up on MFL as well. And then we can start talking about draft dates and time. All right, so we just finished doing the draft gauntlet. So now it is time for the intern's pitch. So like I said, the girls did an internship with me all summer, and the final thing that they needed to do was they needed to pitch an idea of something that we could use here at FSA. And if the idea was good enough, we were going to use this idea. So what I want to do is, if you want to go over there and join your sister, you can there, or you could stay here. But either way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay right here with them on the screen, and I want to be able to talk. And you're live now, just so you know, so don't pick your nose or anything like that. I want them to give you the rundown of what they pitched to us, and then I will come back on screen, and then I'll let them go to bed, and then I will give you all of the details for their pitch. That's good luck, have fun season. Thanks, newish. I don't know what that means. And then MJ says just Brian. I have no idea what's happening right now. All right, tall intern and short intern. If you guys want to go ahead and pitch your idea now and tell them what you did or what you pitched to us, it's all yours.
So what we did, we decided to do like a trivia day. And it's basically just like, for what me and Leighton did, we were thinking like in the Discord, Dad just types down a question about FSA or whatever he wants, and first person to answer it gets a new view at the website. But I don't know if you.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Shh, we're not talking about that.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay. So yes, you guys stay right there for a little bit, and I'll give your piece because I want you all to. Oh, says we can't hear. Oh, they couldn't hear you. That's what they were having problems with. Could anybody hear what Everly said? Oh no. Hold on. I know. How about you try that again?
Okay. So the idea was it was trivia, and what me and Leighton did was like a trivia day on like Discord, and Dad types out a question. We were thinking FSA question, but he can do whatever question he wants, and someone answers basically. Yeah.
All right, so it could have been we have bad audio in here and stuff like that. Who is Life is Cloud, by the way? I don't know who that is.
That's Julia.
Oh, is it Julia?
I told you that a million
I don't know
times.
why I always forget that. Julia, I need you to put your name on there for me. Paul said you sound like a Peanuts teacher because he couldn't hear it over on this microphone. We're having issues with our microphones over the last couple episodes. Okay, so very proud of the girls. I wanted them to stay here while I told them how proud I was of the pitch that they gave. They put together a great PowerPoint presentation. We had an opening slide. We had an ending slide. We had 3 slides in the middle there. And they gave us this idea of doing FSA trivia. We've tried to do FSA trivia when we had the beta testing website last year through all of that. And that was kind of the idea where Mad Scientist was going to give us trivia questions because, he's always doing it on Discord for us. So I think the trivia that we were trying to do on the website was misplaced as far as the vehicle in which we were doing it with. And I know Kevin was also trying to figure out a way to do a scoring system with our trivia. So the girls gave us this idea, and I thought it was a great idea. Everybody's telling you, by the way, they're all saying it's a great idea. So everybody's coming up on a thing here. Let me see. I don't know if I have it set up where I can actually put your guys's. Yeah, I didn't put it up there good enough so we can see it. So the idea is great idea. So we expanded on it right here in the house after they pitched the idea. Took them all to lunch. So Matt Crow, if you're still out there, I know we had talked about making sure that I took them to lunch as a congratulations or a, hey, you finally finished the internship. And we did take them out to lunch. And while we were out at lunch, this thing just kept expanding and expanding. So let me try to give you the short version because it's a very long night. We've been on for an hour and 3 minutes, and then there will be more explanation on Discord tomorrow. But we are going to start hosting an FSA trivia night. The very first night is going to be on Monday, September 14th. That coincides with first Monday night of the season. Paul says you guys had a slam dunk with the Mortal Kombat League idea. Maybe sometime soon we'll get around to that. Monday night, September 14th, will be our first night of trivia. So what we're going to do is there's already an FSA trivia channel set up. It's just private. Nobody can see it. And I've already found a bot that I've invited into the channel that allows me to put up whatever questions that I want. So what we're going to do is it will be sports trivia, not just football trivia. There will be a total of 10 questions. You will get 20 seconds to answer each one of the questions, and it will be multiple choice. It will be anywhere between 4 and 9 answers. In most cases, it's going to be 4, but there will be some times we'll throw in additional answers to try to throw you off. Sean says he wanted you to pitch why I was so bad at fantasy. That's what he wanted you to pitch. So again, channel's already set up. Bot is already there. I've already tested it. I can put questions out there, multiple choice. Now for the technical side of it all, this isn't like one of those, I think they're called NCNs or something like that, that you go to a restaurant and play, where it's on a timer and the timer counts down and you can change your answer for less points. This one is still going to give you points based on how long it takes you to answer the question, but this bot, unfortunately, and it's the only one that I could get to even do that, will only take your first answer. So if you accidentally click on the wrong answer, you're not going to be able to change it. If you do try to change it and then you get a correct answer the second time, you're not going to get less points. Whatever the first one is that you click on, it's either right or wrong, however long it took you, and it's going to give you points. Now, what do these points do? This is where we brainstormed additional ideas. I'm going to take you off the screen because it's all right. You're distracting over there. Like, I look it over in the corner, I'm seeing you over here, and you're doing two things. I love you. So there was another initiative that we tried to do with FSA 2 Aprils ago, I think it was. For those of you that remember that we were trying to do another broadcast that was kind of going to be game show-like called Band, and it's spelled B-A-N-N-E-D, Band. And the idea came from FSA members. What we were going to do was we were going to do an around the horn type show like you used to see on ESPN. The Around the Horn was actually going off the air right about the same time we came up with this idea, and then we decided to adopt that platform, and then we were going to do it the very next, I think it was like a Wednesday or something like that, after Band had left the air. And the whole reason the Around the Horn had left the air, and the whole reason we were calling it Band is this. There will be 4 contestants that will be on this show. We will do a round of questions, just like if you've ever seen Around the Horn, and you will get points based on your answers on that show, and I will be hosting the show, and I have the ability when we do it on StreamYard to be able to add points next to your name in the 4 squares that are there. After we get through round 1, whoever is the lowest in point totals gets eliminated going into round 2. And then we will do the same thing with the 3 that are there, and whoever has the lowest points after the second round gets eliminated. And now we're down to the final 2. Once the final 2 do the same round robin thing and talk their pieces and I give them points or whatever, whoever ends up losing in that round, which means you finished second, nothing happens to third and fourth place. But if you finish second, you are going to get a 24-hour ban from Discord. You won't be able to talk. You won't be able to do anything. You will be eliminated from Discord. You will come back 24 hours later, I promise. But that's the whole point of the show Band. Now, how do you get on Band? Well, that's where the trivia comes in. What we're going to do is we're going to do 4 Monday nights of trivia where you will accumulate points over those 4 nights. And whoever the top 4 point getters are will be the 4 contestants that will go on to Band. And that show will happen on the 5th week. So no trivia on that Monday night of week 5. We will do the show. We will dish out the punishment to the person for 24 hours. They will come back, and the next Monday we will start trivia all over again. And we will do that for 4 weeks of trivia, have another show of Band. If you end up being one of the top 4 and you were already the winner of the previous Band, you will not be able to qualify for the next one, because once you've already won one, you can't win another one. And here's why. We want 4 individual contestants after we do this. So we're going to do 4 weeks of trivia, a show of Band. 4 weeks of trivia, show of Band. 4 weeks of trivia, show of Band. 4 weeks of trivia, show of Band. Now we have our 4 Band champions. We are going to take off February 1st as a Monday night from trivia or from Band on purpose, because our grand champion Band show is going to be on February 8th. All 4 of those people who won Band before are going to come back, and we're going to do a grand champion on Monday, February 8th, which is the Monday before the Super Bowl, because that happens on Valentine's Day this year on February 14th. An entire rule book has already been put together. It's already pinned inside the FSA trivia channel, which you can't see, but you will see tomorrow, along with all of this explanation again. That's the idea that the interns pitched. I think the trivia was always a good idea. We were just trying to push it in the wrong medium, and now we've got that with FSA Discord. So again, Monday night, starting September 14th, Monday night will be our first trivia night. Make sure you show up. We're going to do 10 questions for the opening night. We'll find out if we're going to add any additional questions as we go along. I think we would probably only make changes in between each one of the roads to band. So after we get through full weeks, if we have to tweak a little bit, then we'll do that in the next group as we get ready to go to the next one. All right. So now we're going to talk about the FSA Sunday Ticket. Interns, thank you. Thank you for the idea. You guys did great. I appreciate it. I know it's late. Both of you go to bed. You got to get up early in the morning for school. I'll come say goodnight after I get done with the show. All right. All right, FSA Sunday Ticket. So FSA Sunday Ticket is back, and it's going to have a little bit of a twist that nobody expected. So we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the FSA Sunday Ticket was back. The original person who came up with the idea for FSA Sunday Ticket was Damian Scott, the mad scientist. I wanted to make sure that he had a bigger role in the FSA Sunday Ticket this year, so I asked him, will you play the role of kind of like Stump the Chump? In this case, we're going to call it Beat the Mad Scientist. You will play FSA Sunday Ticket just like you did last year. If you end up accumulating more season-long points at the end of the year than the Mad Scientist does, you will get $5 off your membership next year. So beat the Mad Scientist, $5 off your membership next year. Then the last thing, the FSA Clubhouse. There are a lot of people who play fantasy sports, and they're on a lot of platforms, and their fantasy league might have a platform, but do they really have a home? And this is where the FSA Clubhouse initiative is coming in. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up Discord channels for anybody outside of FSA. Commissioners, entire leagues if they want, or individual players if you know somebody who you think would be a good fit inside FSA. This is not a recruitment tool. This is not for us to try to pull in new people. This to give people a home who might not have one. I've heard from a lot of players, even in FSA, who play in other leagues saying, we just don't have a community. Nobody talks. We draft. We don't know each other. We might talk some of the league stuff inside there, but they don't have what we have over here on Discord. So what we're trying to do is open the doors for that. So if you know of anybody that you want to bring over, or if you play in a league and your league doesn't do a lot of chatting and you want to bring the whole league over here, let me know. I'll give you guys a private channel. That way you guys can talk among yourselves and you aren't interrupting anything else. And we will also open up the FSA community channel so they can see what FSA is all about. So reach out to me on Discord or tell your friends. Go find us on Instagram or X at iPlayFSA. Just shoot us a DM. Tell us they want a spot in the FSA Clubhouse. All right. Hour and 13 minutes. It is 9:13 p.m. East Coast time on a Monday night. That's it. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brian B. This has been the Alliance Report.